Hey guys! So, the last time we left the story was yesterday, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to be doing this every day, but I kind of felt like I needed to kind of complete another round of what's going on with June, Joey, and the mother. The mother's name is Jane, of course. Now write that down because I wanted to make sure. And the father went off to make money. So she was explaining to her children how she used to have everything that she wanted. She never really went into exactly what she meant by that. In today's version of the story, we're going to get into that. You know, these stories that I'm telling you they could be possibly real life. They could be something that's going on right now in your community, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your town, in your state. You know, we all take for granted, and of course now not so much so, but we take for granted the things that we have. And we need not do that. We need to really cherish everything that we have. So let's get into the story today. We're going to talk about a couple of things with June and see what's going on with Jane. So her mother says that the father's going away. He won't be that close, so he won't be coming home at night like he used to go and find work. What her mother didn't tell her was that her father was going away for good. See, he felt that he wasn't being a provider. And he feels like if he goes away and gets a job and sends money back and stays away and stays at the place that he finds work, he will be able to support his family. Jane, she felt a little abandoned, but understood where he was coming from. But how will she survive without him? See, June didn't know, and neither did Joey, that their father would possibly, maybe, never come back. Now, Jane asked if he could send for his family, but he said he didn't know the circumstances and he didn't know if it would be possible, but when he got there, he would definitely find out. So that was a maybe. But Jane, she understood that sometimes these things just don't work out the way they're planned. So when she finished talking to the kids, June went back to her corner and started reading a book. And Joey went back to his games and started playing his games. Even though they weren't the newest games, he had a few games. And they did have electricity there. It was solar power, but it was electricity nonetheless. And, you know, they lived a pretty good life. I mean, considering they didn't have really any major bills and they were living in a abandoned trailer, which they upgraded and sealed and made it the best that they could make it. But without a man around, without her husband around, what was life going to be like? Well, Jane didn't know. She really didn't know, and she really couldn't tell anyone that he had left because then it might have put them in a very peculiar situation and vulnerable with two kids. So she decided that she was going to find a dog. Well, maybe not find a dog, maybe get a dog from like one of the puppies from, a friend who lived out in the woods or somewhere where she could find an abandoned dog that would be nice enough to, take to the family and not be mean and nasty and bite her or any other family. But how would she support a dog, with no money? So she had to figure it out. It was a lot of things going on and she just had to work it out for herself. But the last thing she wanted to do was the first thing that came to her mind. Going back to what she said at one point in time, she had it all. What did she mean by that? It was a phone call that could be made. Now, this phone call was easy enough to make, but yet hard enough to avoid. It made her think, should I make this call? Now, she knew the consequences, but the situation that she was in with 2 kids, no provider, and she didn't have a job. And how could she leave her kids at home by themselves? This was not a good situation. Jane knew in the bottom of her heart, in the back of her mind, this call was necessary. But the outcome of this call, the results of this call, this phone call would not only change her life, but the life of her children. It would not only change her life, but forever separate her from her husband. But didn't he leave? Didn't he say he may not ever come back? Jane decided that she was going to wait until she was really certain that this was the call that she needed to make. This was something that was not supposed to be done like, just on a whim. This is going to take a minute. I mean, this is going to take a minute for her to just decide. And as she sat down in the chair, she knew that her daughter and her son would probably be upset with her for not making this call sooner. But see, Jane wanted to do everything on her own. She wanted to make it on her own. She wanted to be that independent woman. It didn't work out. Just didn't work out. What will happen? How will Jane's life change? What will Jane do? Will she make the phone call? You'll have to tune in next time to find out. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to have stories like this all the time, and I'm really happy about this because I get to talk my stories. I'm not a very good typer, and I do have everything copywritten. It's just I like talking my stories, and I think this is a wonderful thing. So tune in next time. Let's see if I come on tomorrow. If I feel like I got the next part of it really good, because I don't like reading it, then we'll go from there. Will Jane make the phone call? Will their lives turn upside down overnight? Or will she try to be that independent woman she always thought she could be? Well, we'll find out later. Thanks, guys. Bye.